Okay. 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to Talks of Trias.
I am the one, your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street. Under the sun, the bastard son will pop the clock to feed himself and family. By any means,
You're gonna hear me counting down because of the way I just said that so rapidly.
Okay, so second episode here. It's been 2 weeks since the last one. We're doing these bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks you'll get some behind-the-scenes videos, of survivors and how the production's going.
So we probably should introduce ourselves, especially because we have a new gentleman.
Guest star. I'm Matt. I'm part of Survivors and Trias Productions.
I'm Charlie, as you saw in the last video.
I'm Kiefer. You remember us, but this loser here, he's Matt.
He's new.
He plays Colin on Survivors.
No
Colin
one likes
Pierce.
him.
I don't know why he's saying that. I like him more than Charlie. But So essentially, we're gonna be discussing today the progress of Survivors and filming and how it's going and such. Charlie, you want to kind of kick us off with that?
Yeah. So last video was kind of more of an intro to what was about to happen, and now that the project is underway, we have started production. Now we can talk about what is happening instead of what is going to happen. So we have so far 3 days of filming down. 3 days? 3 days of filming in. We actually have one tomorrow.
Well, four because there was one before summer.
That's true. So we have 4 days of filming done. Probably what, like I'd say 22 hours of filming in. 20 hours.
Almost
20 hours, and we
20
probably
have
have
footage.
20 minutes, I'd say, of footage.
Total, yeah.
About an hour per minute. That's always what I say.
You know what's funny? Someone actually mentioned, they're like, dude, we barely got anything done. Like, what are you talking about? We got a lot done. And they just didn't get it.
It's film. It's awful.
It's definitely.
I mean, the rule is about an hour per minute.
Yeah,
it's about an hour per minute.
It's a bigger production than.
A pain.
Survivors is a much bigger production than anything we've ever done before. In a couple days here, I don't want to spoil why, but I'm gonna be directing probably at least 50 kids.
We're shooting non-linearly. Which, for those of you that don't know what that means, basically it just says that we're not like starting with scene 1 of episode 1 and then filming the series through there. It's like, okay, we are gonna shoot this part of episode 5 on this day, and this part of episode 2 on this day, and then this part of episode 3, and then you just kind of fill in all the holes as you go because there's certain days that work better to shoot things.
Go ahead.
It sounds easier than what you think. You're like, oh wow, it's just like, oh, you have to plan it out, you're filming this that day, but it gets into the struggle of what was I wearing, what was the lighting like, who did we have there, making sure you don't reuse the same people.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into the film that you don't really think about. Like, for example, like he said, lighting. Like, there are scenes now.
Turn this off so it's not loud.
Yeah, there's some scenes here that we legitimately cannot film because we need to wait till a certain time of the day because of the way it was filmed last time. So it becomes quite a struggle, but
continuity is what it is. It's just continuity, and that's what you're gonna notice. That's one of the things I want to talk about because we want to go through kind of what's gone well over the week.
Yeah, let's talk positives
and
first.
What's gone badly.
Yeah, let's talk positives.
Okay, so positives. Let's go. Each one of us gives something that we found that's gone very positively during the week.
You can start off, Charlie.
Okay, what's gone very positive?
Oh, was Matt gonna say something?
No.
Oh, right, my bad.
I would say that just the amount of people that have shown up to help and have volunteered their times has been awesome. I mean, on the first day, and I'm not going to spoil anything, on the first day we actually shot at my property, and...
Second day,
yeah. You weren't there.
It's the second day, it's the first day for him.
First day for me, and I had to work that day, so they probably got to my house around...
We were at 3:30.
Around 3:30, and they started filming then. And I didn't actually get home till 8, and I drove up my street and saw about 10 cars and probably 35 people there.
Oh, that was a lot of people.
And it was a lot of people. I didn't expect that many people to be there, but it was one of the coolest, most humbling experiences as far as filmmaking because I got to drive up and just be like, there are a bunch of people here that are willing to dedicate their time to helping us make something and are interested in not only just helping us but want to be a part of it and are interested, and that was so cool to see as someone who has gone on this project knowing that one of the toughest things is going to be people, like we talked about in the last video.
For sure.
So that really was something that I thought was really cool, and I wanted to say that's one thing that's gone super well is the response from friends and acquaintances that we've talked to in actually volunteering their time to show up and saying they're going to come back for other shoots. So that's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on to that. That's what I've really seen has been so positive. Is just the positive attitudes that everyone has. They come to the shoot and it's like, hey, I have this. We can use this duct tape for a scene. Here, want to borrow my axe for this? It's just during other projects we'll do. It's kind of hard having people get that commitment, especially during the school year. They're like, oh, I have this practice, I have this project due.
Right.
But during the summer, it's a lot more lenient. Just people have jobs and a couple other activities. So we're finally able to have, I guess, larger groups for our projects, especially for this big, like, survivors
this
project.
is
It's
a lot. I mean, if you guys were to see the amount of stuff we have to shoot for this, it's crazy.
The script is 125 pages.
Yeah,
It's-
3 months sounds like a long time to shoot something. It's not, especially when, as we said earlier, an hour per minute,
Yeah, and I'll tell you what.
and that's not editing.
20 minutes done, and I'll tell you right now, the rate that we're going at is fantastic. I mean, the rate
Yeah,
is
keep it up.
pitch perfect, but we are only 20 minutes in to a
Sponsor.
2.5 hour project. It's gonna be 2.5 hours when we're all done.
About, yeah.
Yeah, estimated because each episode's 20 to 30 minutes. So estimated 25 minutes, and then 6 episodes, 25 times 6, that's around 2.5 hours. So
It's a little bit less than that.
a little bit less.
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I'm
It's summer. He
estimating
can't do
right now.
math.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I'm estimating right now. I made this.
I'm sorry.
I made the actual
If it
calculation.
was
a while
30,
ago.
if it was 30 minutes each, I think. You know what?
We're not gonna
we don't
argue
care
math.
about
I don't know why
math
you're-
because we're gonna get it wrong, and someone's
Yeah.
gonna point it out in the comments and be like, "You guys are so stupid."
The thing is like for
Nobody
any like
cares. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
for any larger production or more professional group, it's like 3 months. That's nothing. They work like over a year for some projects. But for an amateur group of like guys working together
16-year-olds.
that
Oh, yeah.
have no like funding for it other than like mommy and daddy's wallets
I mean,
Daddy's
and
money.
like a little bit of like jobs and just like money.
I spent,
Every single
I
time.
spent all my tip money already from the first day.
I'll be honest. All my, pretty much all my paychecks have gone to this
This and Mountain Dew.
and Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew is a
Plenty-
very
plenty of Mountain
important
Dew.
part of filmmaking.
It's very hard to do for an amateur group for us to keep funding, buying more blood, different props.
Yeah,
Blood is-
when you're spending $7 for like this much blood, and you are literally needing to cover, God knows, like 25 people in fake blood
For one scene.
for one single scene, and
This
that
is
blood's
just the
gonna, and that
first
blood's gonna
episode.
dry. You gotta reapply it, to reapply makeup. You're spending that much money on that. I mean, that's I know we're not in the what have we learned part yet,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm gonna say is,
I haven't even
you
said
know-
the good thing yet. But go ahead.
you know what, you go finish that, because let's keep it kind of structured.
Well, I'll say this one quick thing that adds on to that real fast before I say that is Survivors is I'll be honest, it's a very BSable show. We could totally BS our way through this, but we're not, and I'll be honest, that's what's making this so hard, is that we are taking this seriously. We are making good content for you guys and good quality stuff. And speaking of that leads into my good part here. It all looks really good, and it's also very entertaining. Every time I send like a little, there's always a couple people that I like share clips with that aren't necessarily involved with the production, but I want to show them what's going on. And they always say, they're like, I want to see more, like this looks really awesome and all this stuff. And I just feel like it's coming together really well.
And
Yeah.
the part about that is like when we're watching some of these clips, it's without any music or added
Any
sound.
editing.
So like when we like
It's
take
raw
when we
footage.
take like the footage, pop it on the TV with a little bit of like the music we're gonna use in the background, it
I
all
always-
comes together. It's
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I always add in
It's starting to
music.
work.
Like I'm, I do most of the music directing in terms of all of our films. And a lot of the time when I'm looking over the footage, I go through music, and I will like play it in a separate tab as I'm looking over the film, and it just really adds to it.
Oh, you see how much music is such a huge part of film.
Yeah.
So you might get to the part where we kind of talk about what we've learned over this week, and that can kind of segue into what's difficult, because I think they're kind of hand in hand.
Well, one more quick thing before that is that not only like does it look entertaining and stuff and look good, like it's shot well. I'll be honest, with everyone that's not as involved as we are, the acting can get a little dodgy. But besides that, the acting's pretty much on point. Like you buy it. You buy the fact
already,
that we're all,
like,
yeah.
we've acted together a little bit at home, but already like the chemistry within the first 3 scenes is
Knowing
starting
the
to
people
blend together.
works, because you can play off each other. You can kind of pick up what they're gonna say.
And in a way, like,
So knowing the people you're acting with, huge positive.
and it's a little easier for like I guess Kiefer and I, because I'm almost playing myself in the film. I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's kind of just like a more exaggerated personality of myself.
Well, I've already talked about that in interviews before, like that, like Noah has asked me questions and stuff, and I put it on YouTube. Is that every character, like every main character, is an exaggeration of the actual actor,
their person.
and that's not something that every average viewer would notice
because they don't know us.
But you don't know
But
us.
if you're like, if you're watching this, like being friends with us,
You'll
you're gonna
pick
be
it
like,
up.
wow.
Yeah, you'll be like, yeah, that is kind of them, just in a very exaggerated.
Yeah.
It makes the acting a little bit easier because you kind of just feel like you're at home. You just need to know your lines and play it off a little bit more.
And I'll tell you what, like even like the conflicting like personalities between the characters, like how my character's a bit more serious, his character's a bit more like, like nonchalant, I guess you could say. I'm doing a lot of
More
hand motions.
sarcastic a little
Yeah.
bit.
Their banter and stuff is very entertaining and it's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So overall, we wanna, we're gonna segue into the stuff that's tough because we wanna have to show you guys that we're learning as we go and just, and kind of have a record for ourselves as to say we can look back on this and kind of see what we learned over the course of this. But because we're gonna get into some negatives of what's happening, we want to talk about I just want to say how good this is going. I mean, I am blown away. In 4 days, I couldn't imagine. Pre-planning, I would not have imagined how much we have done right now and how good and how much of quality material it is. Because, you kind of trade off, quantity over quality.
If we wanted to, we probably could be at like the 30 or 40 minute mark, but we've taken a lot of time to review our shots, go back, correct things.
We're trying to make it look
It's going to
good,
show
yeah.
off.
It's worth it to
in
spend
the
those extra 5 seconds getting the 2 directors or 3 directors on set around the camera to say, do you like this? Have the editor, which is me, look at it and say, can I work with what we have here and what needs to happen for special effects? And to have him look at it and say, is this what you wanted this to look like?
I feel like that's one of the biggest positives behind the scenes that we got is that everyone knows their place and has a structure. Like, I'm the director, writer, showrunner, and then we have 4 including me, directors
who have film experience.
It's a positive, but it's also a negative because we all
have
have different
conflicting
opinions.
You get advice on how you want things to look.
I'll
do different cinematic ideas.
I'll be honest, there's no way I can say this without sounding cocky, so I'm just gonna say it. When it comes down to it, I kind of have that executive position there just because it is my show. Yeah. Just like you did with Home, though.
You're stupid.
I am stupid. No,
your opinions don't matter.
For example, with Home, he was a director. We all had our own ideas with what we wanted. But if Charlie wanted and I wanted something specifically, then we would have to go with his idea, and that's kind of how it works here.
Yeah, we're able to meet in the middle, which is
most of the time there's a little bit of leeway, but sometimes Kiefer's just like.
Sometimes Kiefer's like, "F you, I'm doing this."
Here's the biggest thing that Charlie and I never agree on. I like long shots, and he doesn't. He likes.
No, I like long
amateurs.
shots. I hate
We need to look
when
more
there's
professional.
dialogue. When there's dialogue between 2 characters facing each other, I like it to go back and forth without the pan.
There are
but
some times though it can fill out back.
Yeah, that's true. No, both have a role. They both have a role.
Either one. If you overuse them, it looks.
It's stylistic.
See, this is what it's on set.
This is what happens.
Just a bit more swearing, and a bit more.
Oh,
anger.
yeah.
but
all right, so let's quick get into just the things we've learned and as well as the negatives. I just cannot believe how much film costs. I mean, the filming I did before this had gone into just stuff like Home. I think our budget for Home was probably $5 to
And then before that,
purchase something of blood.
One of our school films, we spent maybe $15 on croutons, and that was about it.
That's a real weird video.
But it's
actually
nothing like this.
Quick thing I want to say, that's referenced in the Home movie.
Oh yeah,
there's a ton of Easter eggs in the Home movie.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Captain Crusoe.
when we're talking about the people to invite, a lot of the people that we listed off are either nicknames for real people in real life,
a lot of them are survivors,
a lot of characters and survivors and stuff. So cool. Little hints there.
If you know us or you've been involved in any of our productions, you'll notice, or you should notice, the connections that we make in them because we like to throw Easter eggs in because it's just fun.
And already throughout the survivors filming, we've had I think 1 or 2 Easter eggs that
there's plenty. There's Walking Dead Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
There's zombie film classic Easter eggs.
Just references to stuff that we have in our life.
It's fun having this not be a school project because we're given more
freedom
to film what we want, add in what we want.
America.
And I'll tell you what, in terms of in terms of the cost and everything like that and the budget, there's one thing. Yeah, it's expensive. There's no doubt about that. But this just makes me question, though. I don't know why this is on my mind, but just in terms of examples of budgets that I can come up with, Paranormal Activity 2 had a budget of like a couple $1 million. Why? What were they spending that money on?
What was the point?
And then we are spending I feel like we're spending
Sex.
a ton of money, but we're not spending anything near like $2 million.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
we're
when
only
you
at, like,
have an
500,000.
income, when you have an unsteady income at 16 years old because you're working a part-time job at like a golf course, like
Noodles.
it just
No
becomes ridiculously expensive because it's like I got $20 in tips today, and then you just throw it right away because you're putting it back into it.
If we wanted to, we probably could have put more money in having like a little bit more of like makeup. Like I guess
Well,
some of
Well,
like
yeah,
we could
he has a
advance
sister.
a little bit more, but like
It's already so expensive.
It's-
You're spending $7
at
to
that
get a
point,
thing of blood.
there's
This
no reason.
the painful thing, the most painful thing, is the fact that we're not getting now. What I mean by painful, I mean the fact that we are not. I don't want to say we're not getting paid. We're not getting reimbursed.
Yeah,
That's a better word
We don't
for
make.
this.
There's 100%, like, there's 0% profit. There's 100% like money put into it.
That's
There's
not 100%
100%
true.
If
That's
we-
not 100%
0%
true.
profit.
if we finish the project, like it's like, oh wow, kids at school get to see it, like people we've talked about get to see the end product.
That's our profit.
It's cool. That's
That's
awesome.
our profit.
But if we don't finish, it's like, oh, people don't get to see it. It's like
I'm not. Yeah, no sport.
it's frustrating trying to work where you're not like other actors and big time producers like, oh, just need to finish this film 3 more months and I get $2 million and get that new beach house. It's like we're doing this because we love film.
Because we enjoy it. We want to make something that's cool.
And we're actually trying to. I don't know. I actually haven't discussed this with them, but part of the reason I feel like Trias Productions is important is knowing that we don't get paid for it, because it's almost supposed to be like that's why we're unique. You know, you have
Right.
your
Well, it's that idea of low budget filmmaking
yeah.
that makes it unique, because there are plenty of movies out there that you could make if you had all this money, but now it's like we can't do that, so we have to be creative in ways
way
Oh, there's a
to
lot
get
of
around it. Like
especially
like
practical
here's an
effects.
example. Instead of being able to do expensive blood blood packets that bust out of people's shirts when they get shot, we have to go around that and work ways around this.
Different
we have to get
camera
creative.
angles
So it's
and
like,
then different
oh,
cuts
you need blood
showing.
splattered on you? We're not going to use this, $1,000 piece of technology we just threw a bunch of money at. We're going to take a toothbrush, dip it in blood, and fling the blood on you with the toothbrush,
Or
because
we're
that's
gonna-
all we can afford.
And
We're
I'll
gonna
tell
cut
you,
the angle and
Or
show
we're gonna- yeah,
something
or we're gonna
behind.
do
It's
stylistic
all
things.
different, like
the truth is it works. I'll tell you guys right now, in terms of like CGI usage, if you don't know what CGI is, it's computer generated imagery. The only CGI being used in Survivors is blood and the muzzle flashes.
a little bit of smoke.
That's it.
Yeah.
And a little bit of smoke.
And then some
but a lot of
color
smoke's
correction in
natural,
your basic editing. But other than that, you're not getting this huge Transformer style budget where you can just
No.
throw money into
Everything,
special
There's
effects.
so much practicality in this.
But that's what in the end I think it's gonna be worth it. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be worth it.
And I'll tell you guys what too. Never mind, I don't remember what I was gonna say. So
All right, you tell me what you think.
What I think? I don't think anything. I guess what I just learned a little bit more of the difficulty of just what we're doing, the non-linear filming of shots. I mean, we do it with a school project during a week. It's like, oh, we're filming this 2-minute scene
set a pair
before.
of
It's
clothes. Yeah, set a pair of clothes aside for that.
it's
week.
just a small project, but when you're doing something this big,
It
where
becomes problematic.
we've already filmed a scene that's later in episode 4 or 5, and now we're gonna have to have people wearing similar clothing and same lighting, same weather ish around the same time. It's just gonna be very hard to
It
manage.
becomes tough to manage, but
No.
it's there's really no way around it, because when you're shooting something of this scale, you have to have non-linear. You're going to have non-congruency.
It's just not possible with our schedules being, since this isn't our job. I mean, when you're on a big scale budget film, everyone's there for their job, so they can pretty much be scheduled whenever.
Right.
and in terms of kind of building on what you're saying, there's so many times where we're go to a separate location, then it's we forgot this one thing, but we can't go without it, so we
Right.
need to send someone back, and we need to go back, and then you forget another thing, and it's just.
And then a phone dies, they don't have to
Or a phone
script.
We were
Guys, so
filming.
we
We
don't
were
have to
filming
script
literally
it.
less than half a mile from this basement. Less than half a mile from here, and we probably had 4 or 5
Trips
cars going back and forth, picking people up from here, dropping people off. running, getting equipment, running, getting water. I mean, it's
because all the
a
extras,
mess.
plus all the extras,
You
and
need
stuff,
someone dedicated.
They are all our responsibility. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a big, like, I don't really think negative, but something that I've learned and stuff like that is, I am a very forgetful person. I forget a lot. I have trouble with like big scale responsibilities. Please stop it. And I'll tell you right now, this has been mind blowing to have so many people just like be like, okay, are we filming today? And everyone's asking me, and I'm like, why aren't you asking this person? Oh yeah, I'm in charge. Shoot. Yeah. So it's like it's
But you're
very
gonna
different.
take something away from that. You're gonna learn from that and take that later. Like that's why it's such a good experience to do this, because we're learning so much about not only this but how running and working with people it's tough.
It's gonna be crazy once we're done with Survivor for the first season. During the school year, I don't know if you've talked about it, but we're gonna start doing some smaller films. So
short films.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
every 2
I feel
weeks,
like it's gonna be helpful doing this project, because once we start doing that short film, it's gonna be like, oh wow, this is a breeze.
The short film stuff can only be easier.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be mind blowing how different of like a filming style it is.
Yeah.
Just.
And tell you what, too. Here's the other thing. In terms of pay, and this is when I said I forgot what I was going to say. This is actually it. In terms of pay, we keep saying we're not going to be paid. That's not 100% true. It's actually completely up to you guys, and we don't want it. We're not begging or anything like that. But there will be after the premiere of season 1.
Patreon or something.
There'll be a Patreon or a Kickstarter or a credit card or some type of thing that you can donate money to, and all of it will be going to season 2.
It's not when you say we're making money, we're really not making money. There's no profit.
It's gonna help fund the
It's
next
funding
season.
for the project, so there's no profit. There is no profit to it.
I will tell. Go ahead.
No, you can.
I was just gonna say that I'll tell you this. The truth is, we can't promise a season 2 if we don't have a solidified budget, because the truth is, like, we want to do a season 2, but this has been draining for us in terms of money. It's been insane to do season 1 of Survivor.
It's been one.
And we're not
one
complaining.
Week of, like,
Yeah, we're not complaining. It is our choice, but I'm just saying
it's
that
a
we
big
can't
commitment,
we can't do it again
'Cause it's a big-
unless
season
we
2's
have
only-
a bit of help and aid. So
And we're not asking for $1 million or anything like that.
Yeah, just like
a small loan of $1 million.
Just like
We want a small loan of $1 million.
Take Daddy's credit card, just hit that 100K.
If you guys could do that,
Yeah, it's fine. They won't care.
No,
So if we can get that set up, we'll put a link somewhere on the channel to it. But that's very far in the future, so we're getting ahead of
We're
ourselves.
not sure, yeah.
So just want to say that things are going very well. We just want to give an update because that's the whole purpose of these videos. And thanks to some wonderful people who are working behind the scenes on some of the shoots. We actually have some behind the scenes footage for, I think it might only be 1 or 2 of the days of shooting, so it might not be a huge variety of stuff, but also some of it might not be filmed fantastically. Nothing against the people that filmed it, but I think one might be a vertical phone, which is going to look fantastic and everything.
Oh my god, that pissed me right off. I do want to say one more quick thing though. I do want to say one more quick thing. I do want to make this clear. In the behind the scenes, you guys may see some heated people. I want to make it clear that we're not like having like we're laughing because Charlie had a conniption a few days ago during filming because the camera kept dying because it was so
hot. It was
hot
95 degrees outside.
and every 2 minutes
The camera would literally, this camera would shut off completely.
And then the initial
my God.
Charlie, I think it's overheat. It's not overheating. It has to be something wrong with the internals.
and he's like, I'm going home. Screw this. We're ending Survivors. That didn't happen. But
And then
no.
he gets in the car. Oh, it was overheating. You were right.
And you're not gonna see the footage from that because I don't think anyone's filming behind the scenes there. But we have some
Wait,
behind
should
the
we
scenes.
tell-
You gotta understand when you're filming, when you're in charge of a bunch of people.
Should we talk about
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I'll just say
one
real
thing.
quick.
Alright,
No,
let me finish.
That was a challenge.
You finish and I'm gonna say
When you
this.
are dealing with this many people, it becomes, and you guys can both test to this because you're both also in charge. It becomes mind-numbingly frustrating, and you don't know what to do at a certain point because you'll see that in this footage there's like 25, 30 people there, and it is so hard to manage that and the camera and the actors you're working with and run script, and it becomes
like you can't just have a single person just smiling or anything like that.
You can try and stay as organized as possible. You're like, hey, we're just gonna do this one quick refresher on the scenes, and you turn around and someone's like holding a lighter, lighting a tree. They're like smacking at like a car.
And it's not even against them because they're not film trained. They don't know what it's like. But
It's
if
easy to
it's like okay, we
set.
need you guys to stand here. We're gonna do one shot, and then we're gonna set up the next shot, and it'll take 2 minutes and then we'll shoot the next scene, but we need you to stay there because congruency. And you'll turn around and everyone's shifted, and it's like, please move back. But it's not because there's anything wrong with them. We're not saying anything against them. It's just the nature of people, and it's hard.
All right, so last thing here, and then we'll go.
This was a fantastic little story.
So
this is the best part of the update.
I can't explain this to you guys. If we can get any behind the scenes of this area, I will. It is the back part of my neighborhood, and I mean extremely back part of my neighborhood. Crime, like, is just non-existent here. Like, it is.
Because there's no people there.
It's the most peaceful place on earth here where we are. And we were trying to make it apocalyptic. That's the funnier part. Anyways, and it's now no outlet, by the way. No outlet.
Someone's gonna interrupt our filming.
Like I was saying, we had to do a quick cut because my mom decided to come downstairs. I'll tell you right now, I even wrote a note and everything. It was.
It's a mess.
We need to upload that. Okay, no. Anyway, so last thing I'm trying to say here. Now we have a kid dressed as a zombie,
Covered in
drenched in blood. Okay, fake blood, of course. I'm just kidding. No.
We have airsoft guns.
Yeah, airsoft guns.
I have
painted and taped black.
I have a pistol on me and a 10-inch hunting knife on the side of me while holding two full metal batons.
Oh,
we're
and
strapped up
Charlie.
with totally illegal things.
Oh, and Charlie, of course, with the camera around him, was not turned.
I wasn't facing the road, so
yeah.
There's no clear. Anyone who drives by has no clear idea of what on earth is going on. There's
So
either been
also-
a murder,
yeah.
or there's been like a necromancer has risen a child from the dead.
So I'm trying to get something out of the camera bag, and I start hearing Charlie just go, "That's a cop! That's a cop! That's a cop! There's a cop coming!"
No,
and I turn around,
I
looked up coming down the street.
I looked up. I looked to my left because I'm setting up camera for a thing, and I look over because whenever a car drives by, I want to like make sure I turn around and show the camera and wave just to let them know that everything's okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I go, that looks like a cop car. That is a cop car.
It was the most suspicious thing.
It was coming from the no outlet. It was coming from the no outlet.
That lives there, but
it was such a random spot for him to be, and it was like the last thing we expected. And I started going, as he said, that's cop, that's cop, that's cop, that's cop, that's cop. And everyone throws guns down, throws knives. Noah like died. He's covered in blood. He dives to the ground like to get out of the freaking way.
The cop must have drove by and just sees everyone like looking towards the woods. He's like, okay then, like.
And then he drives to the road, and I'm like, he is either calling the SWAT team or something. So that's another thing I've learned is, you have to let people know around you.
Not to mention that's the most
it's
unexpected thing. I would have never guessed that a cop would come
There's
out
tons of other areas where we could
have.
So,
you know what?
We're
not trying to tell a story
we had to
like
talk
this.
to him.
We gotta, I went up and actually talked to him and let him know what's going on. And I think that's another thing, just as a note to keep as a filmmaker is, you're filming something that probably doesn't take place in the world around you. Mm-hmm. But that world, when you're filming, is still a reality. It's still there. So you have to make sure that everyone around you is aware of what is happening. Because they will freak out if they're not aware.
I will add in one thing here that I do want to make clear. That if there is anything that would happen in the real world that was captured over audio or in film like that, it all depends on... I'm not making my words right. I'm sorry. We keep the footage or we redo it depending on how natural it fits with the story. Like, for example, yesterday we heard something that sounded, no joke, like a gunshot. It was probably like a firecracker or something. And heard some screaming out in the woods, which sounds like the sketchiest thing in the world, but probably just some kids or something like that. But it sounded natural.
It's going to work.
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay. You know what? Filmmaking is tough, but you gotta realize you're filming the real world. And this video has gone on for a lot longer than I thought I was going to, and I just want to say...
Have fun editing. Right?
Yeah, thanks. But we're now going to go into some behind-the-scenes stuff. I don't know how much variety there is, but...
There's a lot. It'll make at least a 5-minute video.
We'll have to see what happens in the next 2 weeks, what the update is, how everything's going.
Hey,
we might have learned some different things.
I'll talk to you about this later.
So,
yeah, no.
Thank you for watching this video.
Yeah.
We want to just say that Jared is coming along well. We appreciate your support, and
you stuck around.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, and be sure, by the way, to
comment.
not just comment.